All right, so are you ready for something really different
Oh, yeah.
today? You guys sent in some material on this thing called isolation tank gnosis,
Hmm.
and it's not what I was expecting.
What is it?
So, have you ever felt like you just need to tune out the whole world and get some deep thinking done?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the idea behind these isolation tanks,
Wow.
these sensory deprivation pods
Right.
filled with salt water where you just float in total darkness and silence.
Oh, wow.
Pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Isolation tank gnosis, or
Right.
they call it ITG.
Okay.
It takes this concept way beyond just single relaxation.
Yeah.
They're talking about using these tanks as a tool for serious spiritual exploration, even enlightenment.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that in the materials too. It's this blend of almost monastic isolation, but then these big philosophical ideas.
Okay.
So break it down for me. What exactly is isolation tank gnosis trying to achieve?
So at its core, ITG is all about tapping into your own inner wisdom,
Okay.
that Gnostic viewpoint that they talk about.
Right.
Think of it like a modern-day version of a monk meditating in a cave.
Okay.
But instead of a cave, you got this high-tech isolation tank.
Makes sense.
They believe that by stripping away all that external stimulation, you can access a deeper level of awareness and understanding.
Okay, that makes sense. But not just talking about a quick dip in the tank, are they?
No. Yeah.
So who is this Harry Palmer guy, and how does he fit into all of this?
So Harry Palmer developed the Avatar spiritual system,
Okay.
and his own experiences in isolation tanks were a major influence on his work. His book, Living Deliberately, is a key text for ITG folks, even though they're not directly a part of the Avatar system.
Got it. So ITG borrows some ideas from Avatar, but has its own unique spin on things.
Exactly.
But hold on, there's also this unexpected focus on prosperity and money in the materials? That seems a bit out of place, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How does that fit into a practice centered on isolation and introspection?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So they believe that by helping others achieve enlightenment, essentially by planting seeds,
Okay.
you create this ripple effect of positive change that ultimately leads to abundance for everyone involved.
Interesting.
And this ties into their system of mentorship and annual dues,
Okay.
which they frame as a way to express reciprocity and gratitude within the ITG community.
So it's each person who finds value in ITG is encouraged to share it with others, creating this expanding network of mentorship and support.
Exactly, but let's be real.
Yeah.
Some people might see this as a bit like a multi-level marketing scheme. Whether or not that resonates with you is a personal decision, but it definitely adds another layer to this already complex system.
It's certainly an unconventional approach. Interesting.
But here's the thing, the founder of ITG actually believes that the theory behind all of this is essentially useless compared to the direct experience of isolation. He's a big believer in just diving in and seeing what happens.
It's like he's saying, don't just talk about it, be about it.
Exactly. The
Okay.
isolation tank is the core of the practice. It's not about reading books or attending lectures.
Right.
It's about getting in the tank and having your own direct experience.
It's a pretty radical approach,
Yeah.
but I can see how it would appeal to certain people.
Absolutely.
But speaking of experiences, let's talk about these different states of being they describe in the materials.
Okay?
They mention utter nothingness, pure being, the dream state, and the waking state.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit like a psychedelic trip without the psychedelics.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point. ITG views the isolation tank as a way to explore these altered states of consciousness without relying on any external substances.
The founder's personal journey into isolation tanks.
Yeah.
He mentions this pivotal experience in Chicago.
Yeah.
That seems to have been a turning point for him.
Right.
What happened in Chicago?
He found a loophole.
Okay.
Bodies of water used for religious purposes were exempt from the chlorination requirement. So that's how ITG officially became a religion.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bit unconventional, so it started as a way to legally operate a flight center,
Right.
but then evolved into this whole system of beliefs and practices.
That seems to be the case.
And this is where the connection to teachings like spiritology and the Avatar system comes in.
Exactly.
The founder started incorporating ideas from these different traditions,
Yeah.
but always with the isolation tank as the core practice.
Right.
He emphasizes that his own path to enlightenment isn't the point. It's about creating a framework for others to have their own experiences.
Exactly.
Well, it's not about following in his footsteps, but about using the tools he's developed to explore your own consciousness, your own truth.
They emphasize that we shouldn't rely on external authorities to tell us what's true or real.
Right.
It's about looking inward, exploring our own consciousness, and discovering our own truth.
It's a call for radical self-reliance, for taking responsibility for our own understanding of the world.
Exactly, and it's in that act of self-discovery, that willingness to question our assumptions and explore the unknown, that we can start to create more meaningful and fulfilling realities, both for ourselves and for the world around us.
It's a powerful concept, even if it's a bit unsettling at times.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront the inherent uncertainty of life and to embrace the responsibility that comes with creating our own realities.